In today's breaking story, you're about to watch Donald Trump snap at Melania in public. And believe me, this clip quickly went viral.
Behind the grand facade of Mar-a-Lago, a scene reportedly unfolded that has become a recurring subject of intense public speculation. The personal lives of political figures have always been a point of public interest, but the marriage of Donald and Melania Trump has been placed under an exceptionally powerful microscope. Let's talk about it. A recent report has cast a spotlight on the private dynamics of the Trump family, alleging a moment of public tension between former President Donald Trump and his wife Melania. According to an account published by People magazine, the couple was observed in a verbal disagreement while dining at their Mar-a-Lago club. An eyewitness described the scene, suggesting that Melania Trump appeared upset and that an exchange of words took place, though the specific subject of their conversation remained unclear to the observer. The moment was made more notable by the presence of their daughter, Ivanka Trump, and her husband Jared Kushner, who were seated separately at another table within the dining room. In response to this report, a representative for the former First Lady has issued a firm denial. Melania Trump's spokeswoman, Stephanie Grisham, characterized the story as completely false, challenging the credibility of the anonymous source and inviting them to come forward publicly with their claims. This incident is not an isolated one in the sphere of public speculation regarding the Trump's marriage. Since the beginning of his presidency in 2017, their relationship has been a frequent topic of media analysis, often punctuated by observations of their body language during public appearances. Previous reports have suggested the couple maintains separate sleeping quarters and have even described Melania Trump as being unhappy in her role, though such claims remain unverified and are often met with dismissals from their circle. The backdrop of their marriage has also been subject to wider public discussion due to past allegations concerning the former president's personal conduct. Most prominently, the adult film actress Stormy Daniels has publicly claimed she had an affair with Donald Trump in 2006, which was the year after he and Melania were married and the same year their son Barron was born. These historical allegations, combined with intermittent reports of marital strain, contribute to an ongoing narrative that continues to fuel media interest in the personal lives of the former First Family, even as they have left the White House. In a recent monologue that blended political critique with personal commentary, late-night television host Jimmy Kimmel directed a series of sharp observations toward former President Donald Trump. Kimmel's critique focused initially on the financial aspects of Trump's tenure, labeling as ridiculous the reported expenditure of over $10 million in taxpayer funds on golf outings. The host underscored a perceived irony, pointing out that these expenses occurred alongside policies involving budget cuts, the dismantling of federal departments, and worker layoffs. He painted a contrasting picture, suggesting that while many Americans face economic pressures, the former president was frequently seen on the golf course. Kimmel further amplified his criticism by addressing what he termed a hypocrisy on steroids, referencing Trump's past accusations that government employees working from home were neglecting their duties to play golf. The comedian wryly noted the lack of a parallel, joking that it was the ultimate case of the pot, calling the kettle black for a man who himself worked from home and was often photographed golfing during his term. However, the segment then pivoted from matters of policy and spending to the more intimate territory of Trump's personal life. Kimmel did not hesitate to reference the former president's multiple marriages, questioning his position to lecture on loyalty and commitment. He concluded with a pointed, if speculative, characterization of Melania Trump's demeanor, suggesting she appeared to be merely awaiting the conclusion of their time in Washington to resume a life in New York, a remark that delivered a personal dimension to his satirical commentary. In the ever-churning media landscape surrounding former President Donald Trump, late-night television hosts often serve as a sharp-tongued chorus, providing commentary that blends political critique with biting satire. Jimmy Kimmel recently dedicated a significant portion of his program to this very role, delivering a monologue that escalated from policy criticism to deeply personal condemnation. The host first revisited Trump's reaction to a recent tragic mid-air collision, an event that the former president had controversially attempted to link to diversity hiring initiatives. When pressed by a reporter to explain how he could draw such a conclusion without evidence, Trump defended his stance by stating simply, "Because I have common sense." This remark became a central focus for Kimmel, who responded with a pointed retort, reminding his audience to take it from a man who looked directly into an eclipse, a reference to a widely circulated past incident involving Trump. Kimmel proceeded to outline what he believed should have been the appropriate and presidential response to such a tragedy, suggesting that the focus should have been on offering condolences to the grieving families and pledging a thorough and impartial investigation to determine the cause. The host argued, however, that Trump was fundamentally incapable of such a measured and empathetic reaction. Kimmel then moved into a more severe and direct personal assessment, stating on air his belief that the former president's actions are driven by a combination of callousness, racism, sexism, and what he described as a profound stupidity. Pushing his critique further, Kimmel offered a speculative theory for Trump's tendency to make controversial statements during moments of national crisis, suggesting it could be rooted in a form of jealousy. The host postulated that Trump might feel compelled to insert himself into the news cycle whenever a major disaster dominates the headlines, as if to assert that he himself remains the most significant event, demanding public and media attention above all else. This segment, blending factual events with Kimmel's unsparing interpretation, highlights the intense and personal nature of the ongoing public discourse about the former president. The dynamic between late-night television and political figures has long been a subject of public fascination, and the ongoing exchange between host Jimmy Kimmel and former President Donald Trump provides a compelling chapter in that story. A particular episode of Kimmel's program notably intensified their feud, with the host employing his signature sharp wit to critique the former president on both political and personal fronts. One of the key moments Kimmel highlighted involved a social media post from Trump, which contained a significant typo. Following Melania Trump's hospitalization for a kidney procedure, the former president posted a message intended to welcome her home, but he inadvertently referred to her as Melanie before later deleting and correcting the error. Kimmel seized upon this very public mistake, using it as a comedic entry point to discuss the Trump marriage. The host's commentary, however, extended beyond a simple joke about a misspelling. He delved into the persistent public speculation about the nature of the Trumps' relationship, specifically addressing the long-circulated rumors that the couple maintains separate bedrooms. With his trademark comedic flair, Kimmel offered a lighthearted, hypothetical explanation for the arrangement, suggesting that if the reason were as simple as loud snoring, it was a decision many could understand. While presented as entertainment, this segment of the monologue underscores how the personal lives of public figures, especially those as prominent as the Trumps, often become fodder for broader cultural commentary. The segment was equal parts hilarious and biting, with Kimmel's commentary sparking chatter about the state of the Trumps' marriage and whether Melania's famously icy demeanor toward her husband is more than just a public act. Needless to say, Trump didn't take kindly to Kimmel's remarks. Sources close to the former president say he was fuming after the segment aired, reportedly ranting about fake comedians and vowing to hit back harder than ever. Ultimately, the true nature of any marriage remains a private matter, known fully only to the two people within it. Share your respectful perspectives in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the stories behind the news, make sure to subscribe.